Hello viewers at home. I want to welcome you to Legacy Channels. Today we are in a discussion on legacy of service. We're looking at various aspects of service unto God. Time has shown us that service unto God is one of the greatest legacy anyone can leave for his generation. As you serve God, there are so many benefits you stand to derive. On this channel, we are going to be discussing so many things. We're going to give you many information on how to serve God, and I'm sure you're going to be benefited. I'm glad to have you listening to us. I don't know whether you're listening to us on the radio or on the television, whatever, wherever you are. I'm glad to have you on Legacy Channel today. My name is Oluwagbemiga Olowosoyo, and I am your presenter today. I believe that God is going to bless you as you listen to our discussion today. Today we are beginning a discussion on the call of God. Call. When you receive a call, what does it mean? How do you respond to it? And so on. I'm sure you're going to be blessed as we go in that discussion. I'm not going to be the only one talking with you today. I have with me some credible men of God with me in the studio. Once again, you're welcome to Legacy Channels. I have servants of God here with me today, with whom we're going to be having the discussion. To my right is a man of God that I've known for many years, who have been doing tremendous work of ministry. He is the General Overseer of the Enduring Word Ministries, based in Apata. The church is called the Victor's Chapel in Apata, Ibadan, Nigeria. He's also the chairman of PFN, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, the Apata chapter. He is Pastor Segun Olowosoyo. We are glad to have you here today.
Thank you very much.
To my immediate left is another credible man of God that I've known for so many years. Actually, on this program, before we bring a man of God here, definitely there are people we have known over years who have been doing tremendous work. He's the senior pastor of the Word of Truth Bible Church, based in Oluyole in Ibadan, Nigeria. He's the person of Pastor Jefferson Emmanuel. I'm glad to have you on Legacy Channel today.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be there.
And to my far left is my wife, my friend of very many years, who have worked with me in the work of ministry for many years. I found her faithful. She's not just here because she's my wife, but because she's faithful in what she's doing for God. She's the senior pastor of our church, the Answer Bible Church, based in Ogundepo, Ibadan, Nigeria. That is Reverend Mrs. Ibijoke Olowosoyo. It's nice to have you on Legacy Channel today.
Thank you very much.
Viewers at home, let's get into business. Come along with us. I think I'll be starting with you, Pastor Segun. Recently, I was on Facebook and I saw a kid being paraded as a prophet. And I got troubled. I began to ask myself a question. Can a child receive a call? Can a small child receive a call? Or better still, how old can you be before you can receive a call? Maybe we should start from there.
Well, it's quite surprising. Well, from studies of the scriptures, it's possible that God might have a plan for somebody right from the cradle. But I believe there is always a time of manifestation. Even if we look at the life of Jesus Christ, it was very clear that even before birth, that God called him for a purpose. At the age of 12, Jesus was in the temple discussing with religious leaders, but he had not actually come out because the time of his manifestation has not come. So even if God has called somebody right from the cradle, there should be a time of manifestation.
That's wonderful. I think I like that. There's a time of manifestation. So the subject is not whether the hand of God is on that kid or not. A lot of time, the hand of God may be on a kid, but that doesn't make him a minister yet. You know, I'm thinking there are some dangers involved in that. Actually, when you project a child into ministry too early, Pastor Jefferson, what do you think about that?
Well, we live in a very interesting period where so many things happen. Samuel was a kid when he was called by God, and Jesus obviously had, just like our pastor rightly said, Jesus was called from before he was even given birth to. The purpose for which he was coming was already declared by God. And if we look at it very critically from the scriptures, it is possible for God to have plan and purposes for somebody before birth, and even at birth for that purpose to be declared. But the actual manifestation may have to take time. Maybe sometimes we have this little confusion where we fail to separate between what is actually anointing and the maturity that actually delivers ministry. A person can be anointed, a person can be gifted, but he may not be ready for the work at a particular time of his life, because there is nobody who God uses without preparation. Adam was the full-grown man that God made and started manifesting the first day, and he messed it up. So God usually takes time to build his people. Yeah, of course, a child could be called, but he has to go through training before he can be trusted to a certain level to manifest ministry.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, I was just looking at the challenges the kid could go through in life. If a child who is in probably primary school all of a sudden becomes a celebrity, people talk, they promote him much more than his age. He goes through some experiences that even the adults are struggling to maintain themselves with. You know, there's a dimension of the glory that goes with ministry. How do you think a kid can cope with that? Pastor Joke, are you going to respond to that?
Well, I think that kind of kid, it's like setting up the child for eventual destruction. Sorry to put it in such blatant terms. Because experience teaches you, it helps you to mature. And that is what helps you to handle situations. But a child of maybe 7, 8, 9, what has the child gone through? When something strange suddenly happens, how is that child going to cope? That's why this is not the first time this kind of thing is happening. And if we look back at history, we find out that children that have been called names, that have been pushed or launched into ministry, they don't last long in ministry. So I think that it could be an error to tell a child to go into ministry at that age.
Thank you. I think I like the tone we have discussed on that subject. Nobody is saying that a kid could not receive a call. As a matter of fact, oftentimes when people receive a call, there's always a period within the reception of call and the fulfillment of the assignment. So if you go too early, there's a tendency that you're going to create a lot of problems for yourself. So for parents who have kids who are gifted, who are engraced, who stands out, it's good for parents to recognize that. But like in the case of Jacob, the Bible said he kept these things in his heart. Sometimes we need to keep those things in our hearts and allow that kid to mature into it, so that you will not expose the child too early and truncate what God is trying to do in the life of that child. Let's go to something different. Let's move a little further on that. I was in church the other time. One man walked into church for service with dreadlocks on his head, and he was in service, and we were, normally people like that call attention in services where you don't have plenty like that. And then at the end of the meeting, somebody was sharing with him, welcoming him to church and asking him about giving his life to Christ. He said from his birth he had been born again, and that he was actually called as a minister of the gospel. And I asked, let me ask a question. Can someone receive a call like that from childhood? Pastor Shego, you want to start that up again?
Well, thank you. Well, there's quite a lot of ignorance all around. Maybe I should put it this way. Somebody cannot be born again at birth. It's not possible. Before you can claim to be born again, you must have been at the age where you know what you are doing. At the age where you are responsible for your action. That you are born again from child is unscriptural. Not to talk of now saying he had received a call right from birth. That's not true. The person didn't actually know what he was talking about. Doesn't understand it.
Thank you. So, if that guy doesn't understand what it means to be born again, or to receive a call, let me ask it this way. Let me ask another question that looks like that. Can an unbeliever receive a call?
Call to what?
Call to ministry.
Of course. That goes without saying that it is not possible for God to call an unbeliever. And when we say an unbeliever, a call is supposed to be a man on errands for God. And
can you take that again? A call?
A call is supposed to be a man going on errands for God.
For God.
And a man who does not have relationship with God, how could he possibly go on an errand for God? I think common sense just tells you that it's not just a thing that is possible. God will not send anybody he does not have a relationship with.
You don't send somebody you don't know
closely. You don't know closely. You don't send somebody that you don't have any relation. No. A call is you representing God to a people. And you can't represent somebody you don't know. And no man will also take the risk of allowing somebody to represent him that does not know him and he does not know. And certainly not an intelligent person such as God.
Okay, thank you. Now, I agree completely with that. But there are some dimensions to that. The other day, somebody came up to my office and said it was his bishop that pointed at him in church and said, "Hey, you, the hand of God is upon you. Go into evangelistic ministry for the world." And the following day, he resigned his job as an engineer in Nigeria Airways and jumped out into ministry. He's born again. He's been walking in the house of God. Do you think that is right, Pastor Joke?
Well, it is not wrong for the bishop to know that this man has the hand of God. But the man himself needs to get his commission from God, because God is the one sending him on the errand. I think that there are either of a few things. It's either the bishop went ahead, maybe he went too early. It's possible he had something and he went too early. It's possible that he didn't even hear anything from God, and he just felt this is like what happens a lot in our churches today. Just felt this is somebody that is very active. He too will do well. So I think that there's something wrong with that kind of call to ministry.
A pity we cannot do so much today on this subject. I thought we were going to do much more than what we did. But viewers at home, we have been talking about the call of God. How does God call? Who does God call? Why does He call you? And if God is the one that is calling, then you have to be very conscious. You have to be very careful before you step out and be sure that He had actually called you. For instance, if your kid has the grace of God upon his life, has the hand of God upon his life, or somebody close to you, let's not be in a hurry to push them out. Let's not promote them before time. It could be dangerous. Bishops, pastors, you're just like a father also. Somebody is under you. You see a grace in their lives. Let's not be in a hurry. If you help the hen to hatch the egg, there's a possibility that you will truncate the process of the hatchery. Thanks for being with us today, men of God, woman of God. Thank you for the privilege of sharing your time with us today. I'm sure you're going to be with us again in the next episode. Once again, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers at home. We'll see you again in the next episode. God bless you.